The college basketball season continues to inch closer and closer to tip off, and this week the moves picked up a little bit as a lot of teams are trying to finalize their rosters for next season. I'm going to give you guys my top 10 from this past week. To kick that off at number 10, FAU. They land Dre Fuller Jr. in the transfer portal from UCF. While his numbers do not stand out too much, he's a solid contributor that I think playing at the CUSA level, his numbers will elevate even more. They have a solid returning cast next season, and I think Dre Fuller will slide right into the starting lineup and will have a huge impact on the team next season. At number 9, Southern Utah. They land Zion Young in the transfer portal from Oakland. His numbers are not too impressive over the past 2 seasons, but if you go back to his sophomore season at Western Illinois, he was a double-digit scorer that season. Him going to Southern Utah now gives him a chance to be a starter or at least a solid contributor off the bench, but he should be an impactful player for Todd Simon this season. At number 8, I have Michigan. They land a commitment from Yusuf Kaya. Now he's a player that has one of the higher ceilings out of any player added onto a roster this week. He goes to Michigan this season where I think he will be in the rotation, but will he have as much of an impact as some of the guys I've listed in front of him? I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, Yusuf Kaya is a guy that I regard as a top 100 prospect. He could even be higher than that. I know some people say his NBA potential. That could very well be the case someday down the road. But Juwan Howard finalized his roster with this addition, and he's a player, like I said, that should be impactful this season and has a high ceiling long term. Coming in at number 7, Hofstra. They landed a transfer in Warren Williams. He was a solid player last season, but if you look at the previous season, he averaged 11.5 points per game, 1.6 blocks per game, and 7.3 rebounds per game. This is a guy that could come in and be a starter for Hofstra this season. I think right now he should be slotted into that. And if Hofstra can give the production that he had the previous season, this will end up being a huge move for this program. At number 6, Temple. They landed a transfer in Shane Dezzoni from Vanderbilt. He was a former top 100 recruit. I think he has a chance to be a starter this season, or at least be a huge contributor. You slide him in alongside a few of the very talented guards like Damian Dunn, Caleb Battle, and this could be a team that makes some noise this year in the American Conference. At number 5, Mississippi State. They landed a transfer in Tyler Stevenson, who's coming in from Southern Mississippi. He averaged 14.6 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, and 1.1 blocks per game last season. He's somebody that will be competing for a starting job this season, and if he doesn't win that, he'll be a key contributor off the bench. But this is a very solid pickup late in the transfer portal season for Chris Jans. At number 4 for me is Rhode Island. They land Alex Jiku in the transfer portal from Alabama. Coming out of high school, I viewed Alex as a 5-star recruit and a player that had NBA potential. He had to deal with a ruptured Achilles. Obviously, that's not an easy injury to deal with for any basketball player. So this is a move that I think has a ton of upside, and that is why I put Rhode Island at number 4 this week. Coming in at number 3, Central Michigan. A couple weeks ago, I put them at number 10 when they landed Jesse Zazuela in the transfer portal. At that time, I mentioned that I'd put them a little bit higher had Kevin Miller not entered the transfer portal as well. But now Kevin Miller withdrew from the transfer portal and will return to Central Michigan. This gives them a dynamic duo that I'm excited to watch in the backcourt. Both these guards are all-conference caliber players. Kevin Miller was an all-conference freshman last season. So with this move, Central Michigan has legitimate hype now heading into the 2022-23 college basketball season. At number 2 for me this week is Kansas State. They land Tyke Green in the transfer portal from Stony Brook. He was a late addition to the transfer portal, but the Wildcats snag him, and this is an incredible pickup for this program because he comes in now and is a guy that I think will be a starter for them. They have an incredible 4-guard front now, and these are the type of pickups that help a culture get established. He's a veteran player, averaged 14 points a game last season, but one of the most impressive things about Tyke Green, 8 rebounds per game he averaged last season, and he's only about 6'4", 6'5". So you're getting a guy that is an elite rebounder for his size. He only has 1 year of college eligibility remaining, but I think he will have an immense impact on this program this season, and there are starting to be some legitimate buzz I can see building out there in Manhattan. And coming in at number 1, Eastern Michigan. They landed Monty Bates from Memphis in the transfer portal. Now, I'm well aware that there have been a lot of talk about Monty Bates and his potential and his future and this, that, and the third, but listen, at the end of the day, Monty Bates is an NBA caliber talent. He was 17 years old last season, averaged just under 10 points per game. And you get a player of that caliber to go play at Eastern Michigan. And Stan Heath, give him credit. He's had an incredible recruiting class when it comes to transfers this season. But Monty Bates gets a chance now to refresh, come into a situation where he has a chance to be the guy and lead a team. And Monty Bates coming out and being player of the year in the Mid-American Conference is not something that would shock me at all. In fact, this is the guy that I think will prove a lot of people wrong this season. He chose going back home and the best fit and opportunity for himself as opposed to big name school. So I applaud him for that decision. I think he will reap the rewards of doing that. So yes, Eastern Michigan comes in at number 1 for this week, and that is my top 10 winners in college basketball this week.